Are you happy? I mean, really, really happy? Or are you facing challenges in your life, health or relationship, money? Are you facing these challenges and it's making you feel deflated, unhappy, an abundance of lack? And I know some of you have gone through horrific things, like the loss of a child or the loss of a loved one. And by no means is this video negating any of that. I encourage you to move through the grief. And I know that sometimes people feel guilty for even smiling or feeling happiness after such a horrible tragedy, especially if a life was taken very young or something like that. So by no means am I brushing off any of that when we're talking about happiness. But as we move through this video, I invite you to take in this information and take the bits that help you, because that's what I'm intending to do here, to empower, not to put you down in any way. So if you're hurting, please do reach out to somebody if you really need to talk. You are not alone. And I hope this video helps to encourage you by talking about the science of happiness and some ways to help you to feel happy. I have had many challenges in my own life. I've gone through cancer a few times now, and I know the power of thought can help. I've lost loved ones. I was so broke at a time in my life, I was eating saltine crackers. I know that challenges can be present. It's not a lack of challenge that we're talking about happiness, and I hope that you get that. Everybody has their own set of challenges. And yes, you might say, well, can it get any worse? And like I always say, yes, it can. Somebody always has it worse and somebody always has it better. But perspective is key. And believe me, I've had my fair share of challenges. But what I did, I turned to meditation like never before. Doctors were even amazed because the level of melanoma that was in my body, and then they took some out in surgery, quite a bit, and the rest that they had detected was gone. I believe I did that through the power of thought and meditation. This second time, same thing again. I know that you can heal your body. I've been through narcissistic abuse. I have done many things that many people don't realize, but I also know the power of your thoughts and the power of choosing happiness. Recently, I was hacked. Right when I was trying to offload some work and hire people, I was hacked in a massive way, and they took out a ton of money out of my account, really drained me from everything. But I'm not stopping. I'm not going to give in to narcs, evil people, that negative source, or even the negativity within my own mind. I'm going to keep going because I do believe in happiness. I do believe in the power of positivity. I am walking and breathing proof of that. So walk with me on this journey, and I am here to help you, to support you, and to empower you, because I believe you have gifts and talents to share. And I'm not going to let any old narcissist, evil hacker, or anybody else who's operating from a low vibration of consciousness drag me down without my permission. So I can't control you, I can't control them, but I invite you to do what's highest and best for you. And you have it in you to continue no matter what you're facing. You have it in you to rise from the ashes of narcissistic abuse. You have it in you to heal your body. If you are here, that means you are here for a reason. You are here on this planet for a reason. You are still here. God has given you another day to live and breathe. Have gratitude, play with me, and I will help to empower you. I promise you that. Thank you for being here. We are discussing the science of happiness. we are going to uncover some actual scientific research about what happiness does to your brain. And by the end, you will have a clear roadmap of how to actually manifest all of your desires and achieve this happiness that so many of us are after. Before we move any further, if you believe in happiness on any level, please like this video, comment down below, I believe in happiness, and be sure to subscribe. And so which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the BMW or the happiness? Let's talk about first what unhappiness, depression does to your brain. There is a research study out from the Brain Care Performance Center right here in my home state of Colorado that says somebody who has taken severe blows to the head, like a football player who's taken on head-to-head contact, a concussion, somebody who served in the military, right? They have traumatic brain injury. It's a very serious thing. They have trouble with memory loss, depression, and a positive mental attitude, which obviously goes with depression. But here's the thing that is fascinating about the brain. Research shows now from this study and many others that other insults to the brain can cause the same effect, such as lack of sleep, such as PTSD from emotional abuse. Say you've been with a narcissist for a long time. Maybe you were raised by one or you were in a relationship with one. This is why I'm talking about it so much. It can have the same effects on your brain as a severe blow to your head. Yes. For a long time, they thought concussions were just incurable, that once you've suffered from this traumatic brain injury, there's no going back. You cannot get your memory back. You cannot have this cognitive response of somebody who has not had severe brain injury. But now research shows that's not true. You can heal your brain. Thank God. Research shows that 66 days, I don't really like that number. We're going to say 67 days, just for fun. 69 if you prefer, days of a new habit can actually fire and wire those neurons in your brain to respond differently. That is so exciting. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear-cut way to retrain your brain if you do believe that I'll be happy once I get the car. I'll be happy if I win the lottery. Oh, Lea, my health is in such bad way. I really feel so sick every single day. So I'll be happy once I feel better. But here's the thing, it doesn't work that way. Because when you're happy, when you retrain your brain through the means that I'm going to be discussing right here today, and you do it for at least, let's say, 67 days, you can fire and wire those neurons in a different way. Like I mentioned before, but to back it up with actual research, because I know you guys like that data, you like that data. So right here, I've got it for you. Dr. Louis Trey from Purdue University, are you impressed? Shows that when you are happy, you attract happy people. When you are happy, you are more productive. When you are happy, you are healthier. So that answers the chicken or the egg question, right? Happiness is what produces the outcome. The outcome does not produce happiness. I saw this lady wearing a t-shirt the other day that said, happiness is expensive. I had to do this so you understood how it was written on her shirt. Happiness is expensive. That's a mantra. That is a mantra that I'm sure she lives by. So I'm sure it's proven over and over to her that happiness is expensive. But what if you could retrain your brain to remember that actually happiness is free? All these drugs that happiness produces in your brain are free, and you can induce them every and any time that you want. And then you're going to attract more wealth, health, abundance, and all of those monetary, physical experience things that you want into your life as a result. Isn't that cool? Be mindful of your mantra. Now, this is a habit. Happiness is a choice, and it's a habit. We say 67 days because research shows, that's hard to say, that's a tongue twister. Research shows that to create a habit, you have to do it for a couple of months. Even when I had my daughter in the hospital, they send you home with all these books and videos and all the things on how to train yourself to be a good parent. And one of the things I found so interesting was that they really encourage new moms to put their purse and their phone in particular in the back seat with the baby. Why? Because often new moms would forget their baby in the car, which is devastating, and it can be absolutely life-threatening, right? But because your habit often to the phone is stronger than your habit to a newborn baby, because it's just not there yet. They say put the phone back there, put your purse back there for at least the first few months until you're in the habit of being a new mom. Does that mean that you don't love your newborn baby? No, you do love your baby. You're just not in the habit of it. So you may love happiness, but you're not in the habit of happiness. Notice what you are subconsciously, and that might be hard because you're like, Lea, it's subconscious. How do I know what I'm taking in subconsciously? Well, it'll tell you in your dreams. It'll also tell you by how you feel, because there is a lot of subconscious programming out there. And yes, it is very, very negative. Why? Why is there negative programming out there? To get you to feel bad, to buy stuff. If you feel like you're not good enough and you are going to be good enough once you get the BMW, then maybe that will sell the car more, right? I'm not trying to just bash BMWs here. It's fine if you love them. It's totally good. But that's not what happiness comes from. But a lot of the marketing out there, I'm not talking about BMW in particular, but like say any brand of jeans or any number of things, a lot of times breeds on your fear subconscious. You won't be good enough unless you get this. You're not going to be good enough unless you wear that. You're not going to be good enough unless you get this reconstructive surgery, right? So they know that fear gets you to react in a certain way. Now, they don't have to sell to you in that way, but a lot of mass marketing does. Pay attention to how you feel after watching something. Do you feel better, happier, or worse? This goes with music too. This goes with everything. Do I feel better or worse after being around this person? So consciously you might go, but nothing bad happened. But every time I'm around this person, I feel awful afterwards. And then you feel bad on top of it because you're like, why do I feel bad? It must be my fault. I invite you to just go into the feeling. Do I feel better and closer to my dreams as a result of being around this person, place, or thing, or farther away? Dr. Amen says a great test to just do is say, is this good for my brain or bad for my brain? Keep it really simple. So I've been noticing a lot with my 6-year-old daughter. A lot of the television shows, majority of them, a lot of the movies, majority of them, that are aimed and programmed towards children. You would think that they would be safe. They're not. I noticed a significant change in her mood immediately after. It's like she's not the same kid. So I have eliminated television and movies. Yes, we are listening to Mozart in the morning. And guess what? Our brains feel better because I know it's better for the brain. Do you know the top 2 musical categories that are most healthy for your brain? Classical and country. Can you believe that? But classical, no wonder why these guys were writing symphonies at age 4, because that type of music is really good for your brain. So I'm turning into the parents on Footloose. I'm like, nope, no more music, no more television. But there is so much truth in that, because every time I notice my daughter watches a lot of these programs and movies, they make her into somebody who she is not. So I'm choosing to eliminate them instead of going, well, that shouldn't be. It just is. That is the way it is. I also notice a lot of the programming in a lot of these movies nowadays are really geared towards defying the parent. Yes, there are some bad parents out there, but the mass programming right now that I've noticed even in books is like, so the choice for the little girl or little boy is either follow your heart or listen to your parents. I said, no, honey, that's not the choice. Not if you have good parents. Following your heart is what I want for you, honey. That will be the one and the same. Those aren't 2 different things. That is awful programming, and it's negative. Or like my daughter said, I know, and she said, sometimes I notice it'll be follow your heart or trust your instincts. And she goes, Mommy, that's the same. That doesn't make sense. It's the same. Your instincts are your heart. She's 6 years old, and she already knows this. But see, we forget because of all this negative programming out there. Again, why? To keep you sick, to keep you in fear, to keep you poor. And I'm not about that. I did a study, a little poll on here on YouTube the other day that asked, what is the key ingredient to happiness? Is it money, relationship, health? And a lot of people put all of those. And the last option was, or do you choose it? Now, here's the thing. It is a choice. And some people, that really ruffles their feathers and they get very upset by that. They say, no, so you mean it's a choice if I'm sick, if it's a choice if I am poor? It's a choice to be unhappy. Yes. Now, here's the thing. When you're happy, when you retrain your brain to be happy, no matter what the external circumstances are, now that doesn't mean be fake positive. That doesn't mean to pretend that things aren't happening. It's because the things are happening that you choose it. Because you don't want to make yourself sick, poor, and attract unhealthy relationships. Because here's the thing, when you're happy, you attract other happy relationships. When you're happy, you can actually heal your body. When you're happy, research shows that you are more productive. So how do you retrain your brain to be happier? Number 1, like I mentioned, be really cognizant, hypersensitive to what you're taking in. Don't be logical about it. Oh, this shouldn't make me feel this way. Does it make you feel that way? Yes or no? Is this good for my brain or bad for my brain? Yes or no? Do I feel closer to my dreams as a result of watching this, being around this person, taking in this type of music? Yes or no? Period. That's the first step. We all know that exercise can induce happiness. Why is that? Because you're releasing chemicals in your brain. You're releasing endorphins. Endorphins are linked to happiness. Then you might say, well, I can't walk. So I would be happy if I could walk. Do anything that you can do. Anything, any kind of movement. Yoga is just breath and movement. It's yoking together body, mind, and spirit. You could do yoga sitting in a chair. You don't need to be flipping up in a handstand to do yoga. See, a lot of that is ego. That's ego, being competitive with somebody else. That's not even yoga anyway. Yoga is yoking together body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath in and out. This is movement. Anything that you can do, any little bit of movement is going to add benefit. The more movement, the better. But any movement is good. You can just move around in a chair. If you can stretch your arms up and over, anything is something. Anything is better than nothing. But the more movement that you can do, minimum of an hour a day, is going to release those endorphins, which is a natural happiness drug. Being in sunshine, and even for just a couple of minutes, can induce the happiness that you may be craving. To create happy habits. Bashar says that life doesn't change, your relationship to life is what changes. So when you begin to change your relationship to things, to your life, to what you can do, when you focus, hypersensitive focus to what you can do, you will begin to shift things. So I love, he says, well, somebody might say, well, I lack confidence. And he says, no, you're very confident about that. So you don't lack confidence. You lack confidence in a way that serves you. You could give yourself a major mood makeover, naturally give yourself all these chemicals, which we'll talk about in a second, from watching something funny. Go watch stand-up comedy. At one of my lowest points in my life is when I started doing stand-up. Sometimes making jokes out of the most painful things, or watching funny movies. Anything that'll make you laugh can give you an immediate mood boost. And it gives you all these chemicals for free. It's amazing. What are the feel-good chemicals that are produced in the brain when you're feeling happy? Dopamine. What does dopamine do? That helps you to feel good. That's the feel-good drug, right? That's why sometimes in a trauma bond, which is a very negative relationship with somebody, right? We've talked about that in the past, and if you don't know, go to some other videos, I'll link them below, on what is a trauma bond and if you're trauma bonded. And the reason you get addicted to that is because of the dopamine hits you're getting, because that dopamine feels good. But the good news is you can get that dopamine in a healthy way all the time. What are some other chemicals that are produced from happiness? Happiness produces serotonin. What is serotonin? Serotonin produces a drug in your brain that reduces depression. So a lot of the anti-anxiety and anti-depression pills, they're actually designed from our own brain. What else does the brain produce naturally from happiness? Oxytocin. What is oxytocin? That's the drug that's produced when you're sexually aroused or when you're bonding in any kind of relationship. They say oxytocin is particularly produced with a mother and child, mother and infant bond. That oxytocin is produced. So you can get this oxytocin from many relationships, right? But you're not dependent on the relationship to give it to you. It's the happiness that brings out this bond, okay? So you're not reliant on your child. That would be negative attachment. You're not reliant on the relationship. That would be negative attachment. But when oxytocin is produced, a healthy attachment can form, a healthy bond. Meditation is a great way to find and be in touch with your life purpose and knowing what the next steps are without being infiltrated by all the outside programming, right? Even sometimes the best people with the best of intentions don't know your heart and your soul's mission. So to be with self, to be still and know. All the great way showers, Jesus, right, has even said this. A lot of spiritual teachers on the planet have said this same thing. When you're with self, when you tune in, you connect to the divine. You can remember who and what you are so that you are in line and in alignment with your life purpose. So that when you're thrown the curveballs, you know what to do and you know what the next step is. If you meditate every day, that is amazing. If you've never meditated, you've come to the right place. I have hundreds of meditations on this channel that can support you. You can just sit and listen to the music. You can just sit in silence. Or if you need a guided meditation, even if you've been meditating for years, sometimes it's nice to have a guide and to just sit back and listen. And the answers will come to you. And if not, then you're just out of luck. Good luck. No, I'm just kidding. Also, I'm super excited because I've been designing a digital course for you that I will be launching. It will be available, I think, in about a week or so. So stay tuned for that, because you can take it anytime you want, from the luxury of your own home, anywhere you are. If you have a phone and you have access to YouTube, you can get this course. It's going to be a digital course. I'm going to make it as price point effective as possible, and it's going to help you to manifest your desires in a really fun way using this acting technique that I teach. So I'm very excited about offering that as an additional tool for you. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, it will be available for you to purchase at a very nice price really soon. Okay, please also share what brings you happiness, especially in the time of grief. Because again, this could help not just you, but somebody you may never even meet. And that is what true happiness is really about, is expanding the happiness consciousness all over the world.